This is Glow by Grace, part nail tutorial, part therapy session. Grab a snack, get comfortable. Let's get into it. There are nights like this where my hands are just doing their thing and my mind starts wandering. And I catch myself wondering, am I actually living my life? Or am I just following some script that was written for me a long time ago and I never really stopped to question it? Have you ever felt that way? Like you're doing everything right, you're showing up, you're working hard, you're checking the boxes. But then one day you pause and think, wait, who am I even doing this for? Is it because I actually want this? Or because I don't want to disappoint someone? Or because it just feels safer to keep going than to stop and ask? I'm not judging. I really mean that. Because honestly, I couldn't tell the difference myself for a long time. I remember being 25, 26, and having this list in my head. Not written down anywhere, just there. This quiet pressure, like by 30, you should have this, you should be this, you should have figured this out. And every year that passed, where I hadn't ticked enough boxes, I started to feel like I was falling behind. Behind what, though? Behind who? Behind some timeline that society, Instagram, my family, everyone around me just kind of collectively agreed on. And nobody told me I could opt out. Nobody told me that timeline isn't even real. It's just a story. And you don't have to live inside someone else's story. The hard part isn't realizing that, though. The hard part is what comes after, that in-between place where you don't want to live the old way anymore, but you don't quite know what the new way looks like yet. That place is uncomfortable. It's a little lonely, honestly, because people around you might not get it. They see you pulling back from things, going quieter, being more selective, and they think something's wrong with you. But nothing's wrong with you. You're just waking up, and that process isn't always pretty. It doesn't always look like a glow up. Sometimes it just looks like sitting with yourself on a random evening, doing your nails, and letting yourself think thoughts you usually push away. I think so many of us, especially women, spend years being really, really good at reading the room, good at adjusting, good at making things easier for everyone else. And somewhere along the way, we forget to ask what would make things easier for us. And burnout from that? It doesn't always look the way you'd expect. It's not always breaking down crying. Sometimes it's just feeling nothing, going through the motions, being fine on the outside, completely hollow on the inside, showing up to your life like a guest instead of the person who actually lives there. I went through a phase like that. And the weirdest part was I didn't even have words for it at the time. Just thought I was tired, or ungrateful, or not trying hard enough. It took me a while to realize, oh, I'd just been running on empty for so long that I stopped noticing. One thing that helped me slowly was just getting quieter about my life. Not in a sad way, but I stopped oversharing everything. I stopped narrating my life in real time to everyone around me or online or wherever. And I started keeping more of it for myself. There's something really private about growth, I think, about figuring yourself out. And it's okay to not have an audience for that part. It's okay to just be in it without performing it for anyone. That's kind of what these nights feel like for me. Just me, doing something with my hands, letting my mind go somewhere honest. And if you're watching this, maybe you needed that permission too, to just be somewhere real for a few minutes. No performance, no pressure, just you. And you know what's funny? Around that same time, I also started pulling back from friendships. Not dramatically, no big fights, no falling outs, just quietly letting some things fade. And I felt so guilty about it for the longest time. Like I was a bad person for not reaching out, for not keeping up, for not being who I used to be in those relationships. But I think what was actually happening was I was growing in a direction that some of those connections just couldn't follow. And that's not anyone's fault. People grow at different speeds in different directions. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself and for them is to just let it be what it is, not force it, not fake it. Some friendships are forever, and some are just for a season. And both of those things can be true at the same time without it being a tragedy. I think what nobody tells you about your late 20s, or honestly just being a woman in your 20s and 30s in general, is how much of it is just quietly unlearning things. Unlearning the idea that you have to be agreeable to be likable. Unlearning the reflex to apologize for taking up space. Unlearning the belief that your worth is tied to how productive you are or how much you do for others or whether you've hit some arbitrary milestone by some arbitrary age. That stuff doesn't go away overnight. It's slow, it's unglamorous. Some days you think you've figured it out, and then something happens and you realize, oh, I'm still working on that one. But I think just being aware of it is already something, because a lot of people never even get to that part. They just keep going, keep performing, keep fitting themselves into shapes that were never really made for them. One thing that genuinely helped me was just getting quieter about my life. Not in a sad way, but I stopped oversharing everything. I stopped narrating my life in real time to everyone around me or online or wherever. And I started keeping more of it for myself. There's something really private about growth, I think, about figuring yourself out. It's tender. And not everything tender is meant to be shared right away, or ever, honestly. And I think for a long time I was sharing things before I'd even finished processing them, looking for validation from the outside before I'd even checked in with myself on the inside. When I stopped doing that, things got a lot clearer, a lot quieter, in a good way. So I guess what I want to say, if you've made it this far into the video, is just that wherever you are right now, that's okay. If you feel like you're behind, you're not behind. There's no race. If you feel like you're in that messy middle, not quite the old version of yourself, but not fully the new one either, that's not a problem to fix. That's just what it looks like to be in the middle of something real. And if you're tired, you're allowed to be tired. You don't have to perform okay when you're not. Not here, anyway. These nights, for me, just doing something simple with my hands, letting my thoughts go somewhere honest. It's kind of my way of checking in with myself, no agenda, no pressure. And if watching this is a little bit of that for you too, then I'm really glad you're here. And I've been thinking lately about how much energy we spend trying to figure out who we're supposed to be. Scrolling, comparing, consuming everyone else's highlight reel, and using it as a measuring stick for our own life. And I get it, it's hard not to. It's literally designed to make you feel like you're missing something. But what if you're not missing anything? What if you actually have more than you're giving yourself credit for right now? And you just can't see it clearly because you're too busy looking at someone else's life. That's something I have to remind myself of a lot, honestly. To come back, to look at what's actually in front of me, the small things, the quiet things, the things that don't make it into anyone's feed, but somehow make up most of the actual texture of a life. Because I think that's where the real stuff lives. Not in the big moments, in the ordinary ones, like this. And maybe that's the whole point. You know? We spend so much time waiting to feel ready, waiting to have more figured out, waiting to become some future version of ourselves who finally has it all together. And meanwhile, life is just happening right here, right now, in these quiet, unremarkable little moments that we keep rushing past. I don't want to rush past them anymore. I think that's what's slowly shifting for me. Not some big dramatic change, just this small, quiet decision to actually be here, to stop treating my real life like a waiting room for the life I'm supposed to have someday. This is it. This is the life. And it's actually kind of beautiful when you stop fighting it. If any of this resonated with you, save this video for the next time you need a reminder, and I'll see you in the next one.